Peace to the gods, peace to the earths.
Peace to the gods, peace to the
and all
earth.
the righteous families of the planet.
Peace, peace.
It's Big Brother Fahim, aka Day Son of God.
Blackgod Ra.
Yo, we back, you know what I'm saying? Just building with the God. And you know, the God was just, you know, we were just talking about the little star thing with Charlemagne, and the God was just, you know, giving me a C on it, you know.
Yeah. And really my C on it is star is messy. Star is straight messy like a girl. Because
it's like after the God kept saying it and they breaking it down to me, I see where he coming from too.
Yeah. Because Star said on his show that he grew up around the gods. He was around the gods in the 80s, the 1980s. That's when the nation was strong, at its strongest point.
He did
right?
Say that.
So if you're around the nation in the 80s, you know the gods.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's no question in your mind that you should have to question was Charlemagne a god, or in the nation of gods on earth, or in the 5% nation of Islam. But one of them men never stated that he was in the nation of gods on earth.
Right.
He never had a flag ever.
Facts.
He never even caught any degrees.
Facts.
Now, Charlemagne said that he had an enlightener in South Carolina in a barbershop. He said that he was giving them lessons. But note that these lessons are for everybody, but everybody are not for these lessons. So just because you read and you just knowledge 120 don't mean you God body. Right. You understand? A lot of people might have the lessons. I know a lot of people that quote today's mathematics. A lot of people ask me what's today's mathematics, and they're not even in the nation. You know, they just infatuated with the teachings.
Right.
You know, they infatuated with the
lingo.
Yeah, it's a fad.
Yeah.
You know, I know rappers that make songs about it. Just not in this nation.
Back in the days, you know, bro was talking about word is bond and yo, word life, yo, show and prove the B-boy stance. Where do you think the B-boy stance came from?
Come on, man. I mean, the cipher, rap cipher.
Yeah, they spell it different, man. Y or whatever. But yeah, that's a fact.
True indeed. So,
but yeah, I agree. I think, you know, the more you mentioned it to me and kind of broke it down, I see what you're saying, though, God. You know, Y equals self. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like, yeah, he being messy because he should know Charlemagne is not. This dude.
You
talking about, oh, what the 5%? What are they washed up, or what are they all? You know.
So we washed up because
we
washed up because somebody who don't even claim to be in this nation.
Yeah, you should know he
has God in his name.
Yeah,
he has God in his name. So we washed up because he has God in his name, and you and him got a beef, a little girl beef going on. That's crazy. Don't throw us under the bus. Don't try to throw us out there against this man, and that don't have nothing to do with us.
Right.
This man been on the radio all this time with that same name, that same Charlemagne, the God name. Now all of a sudden, y'all got a beef, so you want to say, oh, is he 5%? You ain't questioned it before.
Yeah.
You knew he wasn't 5.
Yeah.
You knew he wasn't 5. And you from New York. If you were from somewhere else, I would have gave you a pass, but you from New York, and you grew up around the 5% in the 80s.
In that era, exactly.
Yeah. You even said on the podcast that, oh, if he was if somebody front, they get a beat down, they get a universal. And how you know all that, but you don't know this man not God? Come on, man. You being messy. You being messy like a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree. You know, you're right. You're right. You know what I'm saying? The more I thought about it, what you were saying, you know what I mean? That's exactly right. I was more so building with the God. Basically, we were just talking about just, you know, 5%ers and what makes a person a 5%er. You know, what are the basic fundamentals that a 5%er should have or should know if they claim that they are God.
Yeah. You know,
this is what me and the God was, you know, building on, really, you know what I'm saying?
Won't you tell Charlemagne to break down that knowledge equality degree in 1 through 40? Right? You tell him to break it down and ask him, is he God?
Right.
You understand? It's no question, man. You understand?
Yeah.
That's what makes you a 5%er.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the key. You know, and I mentioned in another bill that, and I can't stress this enough, Elijah Muhammad makes 5%ers. He is the one who, every time somebody asks you the 16th degree, as the God mentioned, in the 1 to 40, the Lord's found Muslim lesson number 2, those are what the messenger said in 1934 is what we quote today whenever that question is asked. You know, me and the God was talking one day, and the God was building with me or whatever. We was, you know, we on the, phone building and whatnot. And you know, the God was just telling me, yeah, you know, God's got to, you know, read the message to the black man and read Our Savior Has Arrived and he, you know, read Fall of America, how to, you know, read the messenger's books and then go off onto the other books. And it was funny because I told the God, I said, yo, God, you starting to sound a little like a little Muslim God-ish, you know, and the God's like, well, why you say that? And I'm like, this is where the term Muslim God really derived from. Because I was explaining to the God that it started off really as just a joke, you know, like, oh man, you know, the Father took us away from all that. The Father left the nation, so he stopped following all that. You still talking about Elijah Muhammad's books and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, those are the rudimentary books, the beginner books that all 5%ers have been reading from the beginning, from 1963, 1964. You know, so the name Muslim God, it started off as a joke. Oh, them niggas is Muslim gods. Y'all following the Muslims. Y'all following the Muslims. But one of the things that was key, or that I found, is that, you know, by reading the messenger's books, the messenger did mention Muslim God in 2 of his writings that I can think of right now. I know one is in Theology of Time and the other one is in Our Savior Has Arrived. And the messenger always mentions the Muslim gods, but he mentions them always as the scientists. All of the scientists, the messenger says, was Muslims. So looking at that, I was like, wow, you know, and they calling us Muslim God. Well, I guess, hey, we must be the scientists of it. If we reading from the messenger and the messenger's pointing us in the direction of the scientists, then I guess what? If it means going back to the root, and if that's what makes me, if you want to call me Muslim God or whatever, I just accept the term. Because at the end of the day, in the lessons, it does say that our own self is a righteous Muslim. And as I mentioned before, that's always a litmus test to a lot of 5%ers. If you ask Charlemagne, are you a righteous Muslim? He's going to say no. If you, and this is the point that I was making with you earlier when I was saying that, you know, just about Charlemagne and just other 5%ers who are 5%ers, who have their pen, who went to the law school. Are you a righteous Muslim? They're going to be like, now cipher. I'm not, no. Well, what does the lesson say? But then they'll begin grafting out the word Muslim and trying to, you know, put something else in its place.
Well, the thing about that, God, it's like in the 80s, the gods used reverse polarities. So in the nation of God's earth, there's a lot of reverse polarities. So instead of saying, it's not saying that you're not righteous, it's just they take it out and just say righteous God or God, because we're in the nation of God's earth. Like I said, the Father taught that you are gods. He didn't say, well, you're a Muslim, you're a Muslim, you're a Muslim. He say, you God, you God. So the gods were rolling with that. It's just the gods were wrong with saying, oh, you're a Muslim God because you studying the Greek, you studying the books, you studying the root. So it wasn't nothing wrong with the other gods over there studying the book and studying the essence.
Right.
But over here, the Father was like, you God, you God. So you, in the mosque, I mean, in the temple, you saying, oh, assalamu alaikum, or peace, brother Malcolm, or peace, brother Shabazz. But over here saying, peace to the God, peace to the God, is no Muslim there. He's not saying, all right, so the gods walking around the block, we're not professing Muslim, when the Father said, you God. Every day you go around, you Allah. If you ain't, and if you can't show and prove that you Allah, all praise ain't due to you. You God. You can't show and prove you God, all praise ain't due to you. So that's what it became, I'm God. So they took that out. But like I said, the only thing they shouldn't have took out was making the gods understand that you still, I don't care what you call yourself. Study the root. I don't care what culture you under, what religion, what culture, what family you come from. You want to know your root.
Right.
And I'm not saying what the man call himself or what they call themselves is wrong, because I'm nation of God's earth, but I know my root.
Right.
You understand? So I can't discredit the root. I can't say, when another God, even in my nation, the nation of God's earth, say, oh, you studying the most unbelievable Muhammad books, that's that Muslim God stuff. No. That's that root stuff. That's this nation stuff. That's where the nation comes. That's what
tell the God. That's what they gonna call you. That's what they gonna call you.
You, and they do. but I'm nation of God and earth.
Right.
You, just like another God said. Another God quoted, he said, y'all, instead of studying the root, y'all trying to study the leaves.
The leaves and the branches. True indeed. One of the things, too, just to add to what you're saying, if we go back to the essence or the root, back in 1963, 1964, the brothers who were in the Nation of Islam, the elders, when they left the Nation of Islam and took to the streets, the flag, before even having the universal flag of the 5% nation, it pretty much was like everything that the Nation of Islam had, the 5%ers had. The same flag, the same everything. So this is also, people would see them and be like, oh, y'all Muslims, y'all in the Nation of Islam? And they would, you know, be like, well, you know, I'm a righteous, you know, individual. I'm a righteous Muslim. That's my nature, but I'm God. They would always have to confirm at the end of all of that, just keep in mind, I'm all of that, but I'm God. So but with the root, you know, just looking at the root, it's almost like over time it kind of changed, because back then, if you would have asked them, you know, what is his own self or whatever, and I think Universal Shamgar, there was a quote that he made one time that the father said, you know, brothers using the Muslim names, Arabic Muslim names, and he said, you know, it was a bad look on his nation. I'm sorry, not on his nation, but on the Nation of Islam, because his babies or his, you know, followers was going out, getting into trouble, going to prison, jail, whatever the case may be. And it brought light onto Elijah Muhammad. But so people would think they was the same, because again, they got the same lessons, they got the same flag, they got the same names, you know, Shabazz, whatever. So the father said, stop using the Muslim names, use the names from the supreme alphabet, the supreme mathematics, which I created for you. So a lot of gods, there's a misconception that, yo, see, the father was getting away from all of that, because he didn't want them. No, that's the incorrect context that you're looking at it at. The father didn't say that because, oh, we F the Muslims and F Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, I left that alone, so we leaving those names, we leave. No, the father said that really because of the light that the brothers was bringing onto the messenger, and he knew that by nature, and I think Shamgar had this in his writing. I wish I had my book here, Brother Wakil's book, In the Name of Allah. He had it quoted in there as well. But the father said, we are righteous Muslims by nature. That's our nature. He said, if the nature of the black man, I think this is the correct quote, if the nature of the black man is to be righteous, then we're all Muslims by nature. This was back in 1964, 1965, shortly before Shamgar in 67 came with the flag, the universal flag. Again, Assalamu alaikum. You know, brothers used to, it was, you know, interchangeable. They would say peace God or Assalamu alaikum. You know, it was always, but just over time, there was just a change that went so far away.
So I look at it like this. It was a lot of evolvement and a lot of devolvement.
Facts.
Because we could say that we evolved into being God or whatnot, but we devolved from the root. You understand? And like I said, a lot of people put more emphasis on what you call yourself more than understanding the lessons.
Right.
You understand?
You said we went to, said that, I didn't catch that. Say that again?
We evolved to being God,
right,
but we devolved from the root.
Right. Okay. Now, those brothers knew that they were gods, even though they said they were righteous Muslims in the Nation of Islam. Because again, we quote from the Messenger's 16th degree in the lessons, where at the end of that it says, also Muslims and Muslim sons. So in that degree, it's showing you that a Muslim is a 5%er, and a 5%er is the original man from the root. You see what I'm saying? So those gods, they would just always put more emphasis on, no, I'm God.
Well,
you know, I'm a Muslim, but that's my nature, but I'm God at the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying. Just think about it, because yet and still, because the father wanted to be like, all right, we're going to change the name, but we still going to call ourselves Muslim. We're still going to say Assalamu alaikum. We're still going to say Assalamu alaikum, Brother Shabazz, Assalamu alaikum, Malcolm, and not say peace to the God. Because in the Nation of Islam, they weren't going around saying peace to the God.
No.
You God. You God. It was like, they were saying the black man is God, but when the Greek came, they were like, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, sure.
So in this nation, that's what I'm saying, it's two different nations. In this nation, the father said, peace to the God. The father made more of an emphasis on you being God than you being Muslim. So it would be if they would call themselves, if that's the case, they say I'm God Muslim instead of saying I'm Muslim God, because in the temple they was professing Islam, Muslim, Muslim. Over here they professing God. So that's where the polarity come in at. That's where the polarity come in with the nation of gods and earth. And the nation of Islam.
Right.
The polarity came in when the father professed God, because the father really wasn't telling them on a daily basis, Assalamu alaikum, brother, old man Justice. Assalamu alaikum, brother,